So that's a good pick. You get the corner.
Man, I'm confident in our offense, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube as we reach our quest for 2,000 subscribers. And thank you for coming back. We took off on Thursday. PayPal was in Cali, and I honestly was just like exhausted. We did so much yard work. So thank you for coming back. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to rate 5 stars. We are donating proceeds from this show over to the National Alliance on Mental Health for Mental Health Awareness Month. So make sure to like, share it with your friends, whatever you can do to pump up the podcast. But PayPal, today we are breaking down how the Bears can go from worst to first. But first off, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, Brad. I finally have some tan. I'm not like bleeding this like pale white. Yeah, right. We're both actually kind of tan. Like maybe you went to Cali too secretly.
Yeah.
But like we're not, hurting our viewers' eyes by our, super bright white skin. But yeah, I mean, Brad, you got this green thumb now apparently, and good for you. Your yard was looking great.
Yeah.
And I know when you get older, you just got that pride in your yard now, and it's looking great.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, what I did is I dug up the entire side of our house and put in a garden bed, and my God, it was a lot of work. And that's where on Thursday, I'm like, I can't do a show. I am sweaty. I am exhausted. I am tired. And I'm like, well, wait, it's the off season, right? I'll just take a day off. So I appreciate everybody coming back, but it looks nice. And we put in a garden. So we're hoping that we can start growing some of our own stuff. And yeah, we'll see if I actually do have a green thumb, because the stuff that I planted didn't work, but the stuff the kids planted did. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll keep you all up to date on the cucumber talk and all the other stuff that we're growing. Nice. But let's get into today. We are going to be breaking down how the Bears can go from worst to first, because this is kind of the big discussion. Everyone's given their schedule predictions, and majority of people are saying it's 6 to 10 wins, right? So we're going to be discussing, what do the Bears actually have to do to kind of take that next step? Remember what happened with Matt Nagy year one, where this team, we weren't really expecting anything, but certain things happened that changed the tide, and then the team looked great. So that's really what we're going to be thinking about, is how can this team kick it to the next level? But let's actually get started. Just overall, let's break down, because really, that next level seems to be 10-win teams, right? Getting to 10 wins. So let's just first off see what we're dealing with, right? With the 10-win teams, last year, there was a handful of 10-win teams with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills, 49ers, Vikings, Bengals, Cowboys, Chargers, and Ravens. PayPal, does anything stick out to you with this?
Yeah, I mean, man. There's a lot of great teams when you look at this list. They're all playoff teams. They're all very high contenders. I mean, you think of the Chargers, they were honestly probably the most popular team to win last year, just solely based on all the talent they had. I mean, they got Khalil Mack, their offense is stacked, and they were a 10-win team. I mean, Dallas Cowboys 12-5, Cincinnati Bengals 12-4. Like, really, really high talented teams on here. And do we kind of fit the picture here, Brad? I mean, I almost think like Baltimore Ravens, if we face them this upcoming year, maybe we would actually kind of give them a, run for their money. We could probably possibly compete with them, but kind of the other teams, it's like, oh boy, I don't know if we could compete with the Bengals, just yet.
Yeah, I think that's what was like so surprising to me, was when I was seeing this schedule, it just seemed like there was a whole bunch of good teams out there, like some of the top tier talent. So that's where, to me, like I see a lot of people saying 10 wins, but and that's why we're going to be breaking this down, right? Because it's a whole bunch of stuff. So also, I do see that someone saying, Philip's saying there's no audio. I'm double checking. I'm listening to us in our ears. So I'm hearing us. So So I think we're good. Maybe it was at the very beginning. So I think we're doing well right now. Otherwise, we'll fix it in post. Or I'll try to fix it in post. But thank you for letting me know out there. But let's get into so what we ended up doing though is we had 5 people. Like I jotted down 5 and you jotted down 5 things that would show kind of just where we thought that how this team could take that next step and what needs to happen to take that next step. So I'll kickstart, and a lot of ours connects, right? But this was one that was the top of my list that I was like, this is a easy one. Injuries, right? Like in order to get 10 wins, in order to take it to the next level, the injuries is the one thing that definitely needs to, you need to have some injury luck. Because if DJ Moore is gone, this team is basically the same wide receivers that we had last year. So that's where, to me, you need to have that injury luck. You need to have Justin Fields healthy. You need to have your safeties healthy. The more healthy starters you have, the better team you will have. Look back at 2018, a very, very healthy team. So, yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's good because our facility, I mean, maybe it's our media just hyping it up, but like, because it seems every time they have a rookie, it's like, hey, rookie, look, our facility's really nice. Our training staff's great, So hopefully our injuries, we didn't really have too many, maybe I'm blanking on one, but we didn't have too many like ones that rocked the boat last year. I mean, we were just a bad team in general, so they didn't really matter as much. But I think of maybe position groups that aren't as bad. Like, I think honestly, if like Tyreek Stevenson went down, now this is that corner. I mean, we have Kindle Vildor as a backup. Obviously, he's not ideal, but he still played pretty well last year. And my thing was we just didn't have any pass rush last year, so that's why sometimes our secondary didn't look the best because they were covering so darn long all the time with the quarterback with no pressure in their face, so they were able to have a calm pocket to throw to. But man, like even like a linebackers, I wouldn't be as bad. Say, I know we love Jack Sanborn, but it's like Noah Sewell, like with how it seems like he's gonna pan out, it might not be a bad position. But all those offensive positions, I'm scared if any of those guys go down, just because you want that consistency around Justin Fields in this offense, where I just don't want to rock the boat anywhere with him. Because that's the sensitive subject I feel as a Bears fan right now is, can this offense like go?
Agreed. I agree with you fully. Like the consistency is key, but let's go to the defense. I liked what you're talking about, defensive end or like pass rush. This is no surprise to anybody or any Bears fan. The next big thing that we both had on our list that the Bears need to do is add a defensive end. PayPal, like, I know we already talked about this before, but it was both on our list. Why is it both on our list?
Yeah, it was, we had, I don't even know. We were probably single digits last year in sacks. It was atrocious. I mean, Travis Gibson did not show up. Justin Jones, I'm a little high on him rather than other people. I feel like, I think surrounded with better talent, we'll see why we got him, because I liked him on the Chargers when he was there. He was a very disruptive pass rusher. But man, like it's like we just don't have that specialized pass rusher yet. Like I'm kind of fine with our interior guys now. We got Andrew Billings, we got these rookies, and we got DeMarcus Walker, who I'm super stoked to see how he translates to our team. But yeah, we just got to get one of these free agents, or if someone releases a guy during camp, because that usually tends to happen where these old veterans will get cut on these teams, and then maybe we could scoop up someone.
Yeah, and one thing too is, Chase Young always comes up. I want to say the more that I hear about it, the more people are saying, the more that I'm hearing, the more it's not going to happen, right? Like there's some slight character concerns potentially. Not sure what exactly, but it just doesn't seem like it would happen. And also Washington, it wouldn't make sense for them to trade him for peanuts when he could, if he is fully healthy, he should then ball out, and then they can get more, and they could get first and seconds, right? Like, it doesn't make sense for them to trade him now. So Brian Poles said that he is going to add a defensive end. We have to kind of take him at his word on it. And because he did say it, I think it was on I forgot what interview it was, but yeah, he kind of like, it seemed very confident. He's like, yeah, we're working on it. Like, we're going to add one. And
awesome.
So we should. If we don't, we're going to huck a chair because, yeah, we definitely need it. We both had it on our list high. We talked about it on some previous episodes. For those that didn't listen to it, make sure to look back at it and you can watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if like the whole reason why it's taking a while, like we saw that, I guess besides TJ Edwards, he took a big pay cut. But like it seems like he's not really going for those like top of the market guys because he just doesn't want to overpay. That's just how he is, and I think he's smart with his money. So I wonder now because Yannick Ngakoue basically is the top tier guy now that other teams are looking at. I wonder if he's going for too much where he's almost kind of saying no. But with what we're saying, I mean, we need a pass rusher to just help this defense because it's just obvious. I mean, I do not want Travis Gibson and Dominic Robinson to be starting. I know there's some Dominic Robinson fans out there, but I just with how they were, they're backup material at this point.
I think it's too much to ask, and that's where when we broke it down, I love someone like a Jadeveon Clowney that can play the run, and then you throw Robinson as the pass rusher, and he can develop more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's good enough and he takes that step, he can then be the starter next year, right?
Yeah.
And it's always a rotation, so the more bodies you can have on the D line, the better. And I actually don't really have the D tackles like as like someone who needs to take a huge jump, but there is someone on my list though. Going to my next person. I only had this guy on it, and Kyler Gordon was the person that made my list as someone who needs to take a huge jump. And I was thinking about throwing Stevenson. I was thinking about Smith. I was thinking about Vildor, but ultimately to me, it's Kyler Gordon because Kyler Gordon, I was looking at some NFL reference stats. Jalen Johnson had, I think it was like 56% completion percentage. Kendall Vildor's was like 65, and Jalen Jones's was 65. Blackwell's was amazing, but Gordon's was like 76%. It was over 75% completion percentage allowed. Not good. Kyler Gordon was the person that was getting targeted the most, even when Vildor was out there. So that's where on the outside corner, I feel fairly confident because you're going to have the competition going. You're going to have Stevenson. You're going to have Smith. You're going to have Vildor. And Gordon needs to take that next step. He needs to be like, he tackled very well. He played the run very well, but he needs to cover very well and not be a liability out there in coverage. And to me, that's why he's huge. He needs, like, speaking of it, injuries for Jalen Johnson. He's always injured. And Kyler Gordon, if he can take that next step forward, because it seems like Kyler Gordon is going to definitely be the starter. Like, I can't see in a world where he's not. He has to take that next step. Year 2 of being a corner, hopefully he can as he adjusts to the NFL speed.
I agree. I think the slot corner spot is one of the most important positions now in the NFL, I think. I mean, you got to play the run. You got to be able to be fast and physical and just basically do everything. I mean, you're basically playing kind of where the linebackers are playing. So he's going to be a huge factor, and hopefully it seems like to me he's going to turn out, but we don't know yet. But with the defense, I think I was kind of looking at the interior, actually, Brad. I really think to make this team, say, just looking at the starting lineup with Andrew Billings and Justin Jones, I do like them, but I think if Zacch Pickens or Gervon Dexter could take that next step, if they could upgrade those positions, because one of them I'm sure is going to do it. I don't know if both are, but man, like, they are big physical freaks that have honestly a great personality of the game, and you can tell they love the game. So maybe they won't show up in the, first half of the season, but if an injury comes up or whatever, I could see one of these guys stepping up and
Yeah.
then increasing our odds to get to that 10, those 10 wins that we want. Cause yeah, they're ferocious guys, and sure, yeah, Zacch, they both need to learn a bit more. I know we were breaking down their film this offseason, but yeah, I think they got great potential and can make this team even better.
I know Jake Capone was saying in the comments that, Gervon Dexter going to be our Chris Jones, Tommy Harris style. Like,
Yeah.
to me, like, Gervon definitely has that power. And I agree. I think as long as there's one, I didn't put that on my list of 5 because I feel fairly confident that if you take 3 bites of an apple, one's going to hit, right? Zacch Pickens, Gervon Dexter, Travis Bell. So I feel good about that, where one should be able to kind of take that next step. I will say, though, it is difficult to kind of take that next step as a defensive tackle, right? Because I'm still on the side, though. I know Bears Bones is saying this in the comments, like Dexter's going to be a good one. I still like him team Pickens, right? And yet again, it's like we're betting on 2 awesome horses, and we're going to, they're our horses, and we'll see who. So I would love for Jay and Bears Bones to be right, and I'd love for myself to be right too. So we have 2 freaking awesome defensive tackles. Let's go.
That would be awesome if they both just emerged, and then we could get rid of Billings and Justin Jones. And I could see it happening. I mean, with that potential, and honestly, maybe one of them won't be a star, but one of them would be a good, solid player, and that's where I brought him up too, because our run game, you remember watching our run defense last year, Brad? It was atrocious. So it was just every single running back, it was like 5-6 yards, and then it's like, okay, then they can pass, and it's like we had a good secondary, but it's like, all right, they can run on us or they can pass on us and have no pressure on their quarterback. It was like such easy yards. I don't know how we didn't let up that many points, honestly, last year.
It was weird.
With how bad our defense was. We let up a bunch of yards, though.
I think maybe it was like the Thibodeau defense, where like if you hold on to the ball, there's just less time to be played. Like since we kept running the ball, there was just less time for people to score points. So it made us look good.
Yeah, that's very true. But it was like, hopefully those 2 guys, and I mean, even this entire front 7, like we got it down, I think, we have the talent to really clog the holes up and make sure we get to the running back at the line of scrimmage. It was every single time. I don't think after watching like the 2018 Bears and just seeing how many tackle for losses and aggressiveness we would get, like tackles we would get, and then watching the like last year's team, it was like we had like no tackle for loss. It would be like 1 or 2 a game. It was insane.
I'll make I don't know if this is a bold statement, but this is kind of what I'm feeling, right? I feel what's going to happen is Gervon Dexter is going to be more of that run stuffer. Jay said it in the comments too. Like, to me, he's more of that run stuffer that you want to see out there. And I think Pickens is going to look a lot better because he's going to get more sacks. He's going to get more pressure. So more people are just going to like him more. I feel like people are going to, I think at the end of the season, people are going to say that Pickens is the better defensive tackle because he's going to rush the passer more. I think because of his quicker step, because of his hands, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be better, right?
Yeah.
I think that would still be a debate, but I do think at the end of the season, Pickens is going to have like more sacks just because he's going to be put in the position more. I think he's going to come in more so on 3rd down. And I think people are going to be like, where's Gervon? And in reality, it's like he's in the trenches, like opening up your linebackers. While I think he just has more of that. I think Pickens has more of the pass rush upside because of his quickness. I could see him being more of that 3rd down.
I take Brad. Honestly, I could see it, but still, we don't know yet. I mean, I think that it was so hard to watch Dexter in his film. You really pointed out to me. You were like, Blake, like watch this, and he's so slow to get it for every time they'd hike the ball. There was like a second, and then he would engage the block. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think this defensive line is promising though, to say the least, Brad.
What Gervon Dexter reminds me of is when you turn a person on Madden and you remove like their acceleration. Like I did this one time where I removed someone's acceleration and jacked up the strength. Like, because he doesn't have that get off. And that's where if you can train him that get off, if you can teach him some of that stuff, his strength is just unmatched. Like it was just the way that he fight. Like it's just nuts. It's just crazy. So hopefully we can get both two great guys on the interior, but let's flip over to the offense, shall we? So the offense, I'm going to start off with someone who is on my list, and some people might call this blasphemous. I'm calling this realistic because you have to protect Justin Fields. Something that has to happen. Darnell Wright has to be good. Some might be saying, do you think he's bad? No, I don't. I think he's a rookie. And if we learned anything from last year, rookies can't be guaranteed on. Evan Neal, tackle from the Alabama Crimson Tide, selected with the 7th overall selection, was seen as this crazy, awesome talent, did not do well. PFF graded him at a 41 grade, absolutely abysmal. Kenyon Green, seen as like the great guard prospect, was horrific for the Texans. What I'm saying is, I don't mean he's going to be terrible. I don't mean he's going to be horrific. We are relying on a rookie to be the right tackle. We just have to make sure that that's good. We just have to make sure that it's solid. We have to make sure that, because chances are he's going to be our worst offensive lineman, maybe him or Whitehair. Now, that's not a slight against Darnell Wright. That's a slight. That just kind of shows how this offensive line should be. So you do need the rookie to produce. There's a lot of pressure on him to succeed. I think the big question is just how good do we think he's going to be? To me, if he's solid, I'm a happy man, right? Yeah. I'm not asking for all pro. I'm not asking for pro bowler. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for someone who can just not suck. Like that's what I'm hoping for. Just don't suck next year.
Yeah. And it's hard. Yeah. I think we can all say that we really believe that he will be. I mean, just he's got all the traits. And something, I guess, he's not going to get bull rush, I don't think. I think we learned that from, Borum. Like, I don't think Darnell Wright, he's not going to get bull rushed. Like how Borum would just get shoved around. But besides, I mean, this offensive line, I'm kind of confident in them this year, where I feel like we don't have to talk about the rest of it. I think Cody Whitehair is kind of like, I don't want to say for sure, but like he's definitely going to be better than Mustapher. I think that's easy to say, and we'll see how much that helps just having a pretty good offensive lineman at center.
Yeah,
because Justin Fields won't be getting rushed from the center and then have to escape the pocket.
The only thing that I was a little bit nervous about, though, with Whitehair, I was actually going to put Whitehair on it too, is I felt like when he was the center, the offensive, like the running attack didn't go as well, right? The center is the quarterback of the offense. You have to know where everybody's at. Now, I still felt, and this is where I didn't grab the stats, it was just a feeling, when we were in the Nagy era where no one could run the football, it did seem like when Whitehair was out at center, when he was there, it just didn't seem like the running game was going. Completely different scenario, completely different scheme. It's just something that hopefully cerebrally he can step up to the plate and be that quarterback of the offensive line. But PayPal, speaking of quarterback, I think everybody has this. Everybody knows this. One of the biggest things that has to happen next year in order for us to win some games, Justin Fields. Justin Fields, obviously on both of our lists, but what do you feel like he has to do next season?
Brad, I'm confident in him. I'm all trust in Justin Fields. I see him doing the simple things. He's actually smiling. He's enjoying the game a lot more. He's getting social media. That shows that he's comfortable within his skin. The first 2 years, you could see he was just uncomfortable. He was learning how to deal with media. He was learning how to do all these different things. And now he's been focused on football, and he has a solid offensive coordinator he's been with for multiple years. Same with Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool. He has time with them. I think we just got to see more passes out of him, and we had the passing honestly downs for him and passing plays. It was offensive lineman. Truly, maybe I'm just in love with Justin Fields, but
We all are.
Yeah, I really thought the offensive line was the big factor where he wasn't able to sit comfortably and trust the pocket. He right as he would snap the ball. I mean, we come to the Browns game. It's like right as he snapped the ball, it was just like 1-2 sack,
Yeah.
and the only way he was able to complete a pass was to escape the pocket or do something with his feet. And I think this year we'll see him. And I know Lou Getsy's gonna practice with him a lot of just staying in the pocket, and I think he has that offensive lineman we were just talking about where I feel comfortable with the offensive line we have, and I know he will too. Like it's looking good. So I think he'll be able to pass a lot more. We had the passing plays last year. Now now he can have that pocket now.
And you could tell that he's learning because when we saw Trevor Siemian out there, Trevor Siemian threw it to the running back. And then after that, Justin Fields started throwing it to the running back. Like, oh, I can do this? Like, yeah, it's very easy to just toss to the running back. And I think now there's no excuses. So I'm curious out there, what do you see as a successful season for Justin Fields? Because that's a loaded question. And I want to say, too, it sounds like he is working on, or I think that there was a rumor out there that he's working on just getting the ball out quicker and trying to make faster decisions. That was a big piece of it. And I think, too, identifying what's open, trusting those receivers, having that continuity. And to me, this is a spoiler. I did not have wide receivers as something that needs to happen because to me, it's all on Justin Fields. If Chase Claypool sucks, so be it, right? But if Justin Fields sucks, no one's getting anything. No one's getting the ball.
Yeah.
And by sucks, I mean if he doesn't take a step forward in the passing game. I think for me, a successful season, what I see is I look at Jalen Hurts with his second season and say maybe a little bit better. Jalen Hurts in 15 games had 3,144 passing yards and 784 rushing yards. To me, the bar is 4,000 total yards, not passing yards. Right? Everybody wants to say 4,000 passing yards because we've never had it. Right? If he does that, I'm jumping for joy. But to me, he has to have over those 4,000 yards because that really can show that he can take control over this offense. We had the number one rushing attack last year. He needs to just develop better as a passer. And if he can take control, like what Jalen Hurts did last year, I think that's where you see this team really come into its own. Stop turning the ball over. I think he had the 5th or 6th highest interception rate. So if you can stop fumbling it, stop turning the ball over, this offense should be able to handle it with Claypool, with Moore, with Mooney, with Kmet, with Tanyan. He needs to take that step forward. And I think this can be a very good offense with Fields under center.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just like trusting in his teammates and stop trying to do everything yourself. That's where it's like, we'd see him try to do these big plays, and that's when those turnovers would happen. And now it's like he's got that continuity, like you were saying. Yeah, now he can trust in his teammates and everything because he's been there for a while. And honestly, with continuity, I'm not too worried about this. Maybe people are. DJ Moore, I know you're talking about receivers earlier, not really. I still think that's a little bit big of we got to make sure that the receivers actually step up and do their job. DJ Moore, I'm not too worried about him adjusting to Justin Fields. We know the stats of, being on the Panthers. He had like 6 quarterbacks last year and still had a great season. Like I don't think that's a problem with him adjusting to Justin Fields. Especially it seems like they they already like each other a lot, and going to game, Blackhawks games and all that. But Chase Claypool, the one is I'm still waiting to see if he can step up, because we just need that different receiver to
Yeah.
get the targets away from DJ Moore. And honestly, if Chase Claypool can succeed, I think then Darnell Mooney, we're gonna have a bunch of home run balls with Darnell Mooney, and back to where when we had Allen Robinson, it's like Darnell Mooney looked so great when he had, he was under these receivers. But last year we were proven wrong where he's not a number one. And Chase Claypool, if he can take that load off, I mean, this receiver core is just gonna look so much better. And man, that 10 wins seems a lot easier when you can see that Justin Fields has this arsenal of wide receivers to throw to.
Yeah, and I think that is big. The one thing though, I did think about this today, Claypool, if he's got a good season, now he's going to want to get paid. I mean, at least hopefully maybe we'll get a comp pick for him or something like that. But yeah, I'd rather have him succeed, rather have him look great. But I do like how it is that variety of wide receivers that you have out there. Like with Claypool being that bigger wide receiver. But I guess to me, like my only counter was it's if he stinks, you can do something different, right? You could even trade for a DeAndre Hopkins if you really, really felt like you needed a wide receiver like that, right? Or you have Tanyan out there. You switch around with 2 running back sets, different things that you can kind of scheme. You'd like that third one, but yeah, I still rely on Fields.
Yeah, and we still don't know what's going to happen with him, but I think for me it's that big receiver. I mean, on this roster, we really don't have one that's going to be that jump ball receiver like Chase Claypool.
True.
I mean, EQ St. Brown is not a jump ball receiver. He's a big guy, but no, the only way he's going to get a deep ball pass is by outrunning someone and be wide open. He's not going to be a jump ball. Tyler Scott's also, super tiny. Darius Fountain is the only guy I love. I love Darius Fountain. We'll see, if he emerges, but likely he won't. So that's where Chase Claypool, I'm like, if he can really step up his game and kind of go back to his old Pittsburgh days, our offense is going to be so much fun, Brad. It's gonna be a great time. And Justin Fields getting to those 4,000 total yards just sounds easy when you see this like talent,
And I think that's the big thing is if he doesn't produce, right? The offensive line should be good. And the Lions fan, Mr. Don Burr, said, if Bears O-line is good, Detroit O-line is on another planet, then yes, it's called Planet Elite. I think that they have an elite offensive line. I think that there's you always want to try to be average at offensive line. Honestly, you just don't want to suck at offensive line. But I do think that they do have an elite offensive line. I won't hide it.
The Lions. Yeah, the
phenomenal.
Bears. We have a good one. Yep.
Yeah, like we're hoping that it's good. If Darnell Wright is good, it's going to be a good line. I do feel. But yeah, that's about it. That's about the show. So our big takeaways: you gotta stay healthy, gotta add a defensive end. Kyler Gordon needs to take a step up. Run defense needs to be held together. Oh, you got something else?
Hey, I got one more. I got one more, Brad. And this is just a little thing.
Now we got the entire team.
Yeah, I just thought because you're talking about it way earlier in the show about Matt Nagy. Sorry to bring up that guy's name, but something I think that was good that Matt Nagy brought was like he brought the history to all the players that played for the Bears. Like he was like, you got to beat the Packers. Obviously, we didn't really win against the Packers, but at least he brought a few wins, against the Packers and really stressed that the history and why we care about it. Like last year, we saw Justin Fields like, I don't care about the Packers. Like it was, he just like kind of like, oh, it's just another game.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that is not another game. But this year, bringing in all these Chicago natives, Illinois natives, that are Chicago fans, like I think that's going to bring that extra like, let's beat these rivalries. Like, let's get these guys and get them a little more juiced up when we face these big matchups.
How about this? If if we lose, and I hope we don't lose week 1 to the Packers, because that will be soul crushing, right? I think every Bears fan needs to take a video, like if we were to lose, of how heartbreaking it is and how much it just eats at your soul when this happens. Like videos during the game, videos after, of just soul crushing defeats, and then just mention every Bears player. This is what it feels like to lose against the Packers. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, then like a video of me going into work the next day of all the Packers fans,
everyone making fun
heckling.
of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm thankful I work in IT, because like no one cares about sports. Because like everyone's like, oh, there was a game yesterday. But I think overall though, like basically what we were talking about, right? In order to be worst to first, you need some injury luck, and the defense, we still need an addition, and you need to see some key people kind of take some steps up, like Kyler Gordon, one of the rookie defensive tackles, your rookie Darnell Wright, and really the biggest key is Justin Fields with his wide receivers. I hope as we're recording this and as you're listening to this, however you're listening to your podcast, I hope Justin Fields is out there with his wide receivers, getting trained up, getting everything going so that we can get some massive dubs. But everyone, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all. We appreciate you. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice